Hey, what's happening, YouTube buyers and sellers? Chris Bevington here. I'm a local Phoenix area realtor, Glendale, Arizona, to be a little bit more specific. And thanks for swinging by the channel today. I want to chat with you a little bit today about who pays the buyer agent commission, because for those of you out there that are looking to buy or potentially thinking about buying, I've got news for you. It's you. So a little bit of history on that, because it actually changed last summer. So before that, the sellers were paying both the listing agent and the buyer's agent. That was negotiated in the listing appointment with the agent and the seller. They would determine how much they were going to be paying their agent to help them sell the home. And during those discussions, they were also talking about how much they would pay an agent who was bringing the willing, ready, and able buyers. That number was always negotiable. It was never set in stone. There was a big lawsuit about it. NAR ended up losing. Newsflash, or spoiler alert, right? And if we want to talk about the exact details of the lawsuit, maybe we can chat about that another time. Give me a call or an email. I have plenty of opinions on that. But I did mention in one of my other videos, links below, that if this market does shift kind of out of buyer's market, more into balanced, and then if it definitely shifts over to sellers, that sellers will be less incentivized to be paying the buyer's agent commission. And I referenced that in our market here in Phoenix, at least, the vast majority of sellers are still paying the buyer agent commission. So some of you may have been out there being like, what? I thought the sellers always paid the commission. Like, what are you talking about? So to fast forward to today, from last summer up until now, it hasn't really been that much of an issue because of the market with high interest rates and high prices, low demand, low buyer turnout. It's kind of shifted over into a buyer's market where buyers have that negotiating power to where they've been asking the seller to pay the commission. But rewinding even before that happens, we do as agents have to get paperwork signed now by you, the buyer, legally every single time. Before, it was mandated by some brokerages. They made you do a buyer-broker agreement. A lot of agents chose to do it for their own business reasons and whatever. Our brokerage didn't mandate it, didn't require it, so I never really did. I just more focused on building relationships, and I didn't necessarily have a contract with my buyers. But now I do. So we have to have that conversation. You're having buyer consultations with your agent before you're even going out shopping. And one of the main things that we're talking about is, how am I getting paid if I'm working with you? And the short version is, ultimately, you are responsible for that. And again, we negotiate any amount. It can be an upfront fee. It can be a flat fee. It can be a percentage of the sale. It can be some paid up front. It can be refunded and then paid at close. There's all kinds of different ways. Again, fully negotiable between you, the buyer, and me, the agent, right? But what we have been seeing in the last year plus, I guess, right? Because it happened last August, sellers have been willing to contribute to the buyer agent commission to help out buyers, because buyers just have the leverage, right? They have the negotiating power in a little bit more balanced or buyer's market. But why that matters for you today is, first of all, I just want you to understand how that works. Now, if you're not having a buyer consultation, or your agent isn't really going over the paperwork with you, or they don't really have a full grasp on what the buyer broker agreement is actually detailing for you, then you need to call another agent for sure. Because maybe surprisingly or not surprisingly, there are more than zero agents out there that don't fully understand this, that haven't really been doing a lot of buy-side transactions. Maybe they focus more on listings, or maybe they're just part-time agents or whatever. And not to disparage any part-time agents, but you really are going to need a buyer's agent who's out there doing this full time, that is aware of all the contract documentation, the rules and regulations changes, the strategies that are going to be coming into play if the market shifts. And this is going to be a real big one for buyers if the market shifts toward the sellers, because you're going to be sitting down with your buyer's agent, myself, or your trusted real estate professional, and they're going to be saying, look at all these things I'm going to do to help you sell your house. To do all these things, it's my job. I got a family just like you. I need to make X whatever. And you guys are going to determine that, and you're going to say, yeah, no problem. I can take care of that for you. Now, in this market, I have that conversation still. We sit down, Mr. Buyer, look at all these awesome things I'm going to do to help you buy a house. Super excited to meet you. Let's get out there and do it. This is how much money I need to make, or how much money I'd like to make, or how much money I deserve, or however you want to word it, right? But in this market, I say, look, now I can't make any guarantees, but in this market, the vast majority of sellers are still paying buyer agent commissions. So when we write an offer, when you find a home that you love, we're going to submit this other paper here that says, hey, Mr. Seller, we'll give you this much for your house, detailed in these ways, and plus, please chip in this much toward my buyer agent commission. They may say yes right away. They may counter back. If they do counter back, and if it's a number that I'm comfortable with and the buyer's comfortable with, you're buying a house, it's great, let's move forward. But what I do have to throw in there is, look, if they're just not willing or not able, they can't financially, or they just, they just don't want to, they have a disagreement, they're not paying that buyer's agent, you don't work for me, like whatever the reasoning is, right? If they're not gonna pay me, then you and I have to have a chat. You gotta pay me what we've already agreed on and for the reasons that we've discussed and agreed on, or we can find another home where the seller is a little bit more motivated, a little bit more ready, willing, and able to pay the buyer agent commission. So if the pendulum swings again, if rates come down, I'm not making any promises, and I do need to throw out there again, I'm sure I've said it numerous times in this video already, all commissions are negotiable. When you're negotiating those rates with your buyer agent, please keep in mind that right now is the market that sellers are paying the buyer agent commission, which could be thousands of dollars that it saves you buyers out there potentially. And if the market shifts and sellers are having 4 or 5 or 10, or watch my other videos, 75 people trying to buy their house, they don't have to pay your buyer's agent. They can take the cream of the crop offers that's going to put the most money in their pocket. So something to consider as the market shifts. Also something to consider for you agents out there, really start to get your buyer consultations locked in, because if this market shifts, we are going to also have to shift with it so that we can best help our clients. So if you have any questions about that, obviously give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever. If you like the content, want to find your way back, help support the channel, smash that like and subscribe. We'll chat next time.